Well, the biggest threat to our democracy is the Electoral Commission. Was he right? Was he wrong in that assertion? We'll get to that conversation in a bit because we know Christian Yali yesterday covered a press conference of the Electoral Management Committee. It's 18 minutes after 80 on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. This is your Urban Lifestyle Radio. My name is Johnny Hughes. Always a pleasure to be on your radio. Here's Dr. Nyahota Maklo.
Here in this hall, I'm definitely older than most of the people here. I have seen things in this country. I have seen coup d'etats in this country. I have been part of coup d'etats in this country, and I know what I'm talking about. I have spent almost 5 years of my life in prison. We are not leaders. I am saying that at the moment, the greatest threat to our democracy is the Electoral Commission. That is the greatest threat to our democracy. And if we are not careful, they will lead this country into destruction. Mark my words. Why do I say so? How on earth can transfers be made from one particular constituency to another without the consent of the person? These are facts.
It's 95 days to election 2024. Former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan once said during Ghana's 2016 general elections that, "I call on the candidates, their parties, and their supporters to remain calm until the announcement of the final results by the Election Commission. There is no reason for incitement." Unquote. A word to the wise is enough. This is your Election Command Center. 92.7, 3FM Sunrise.
Now let's get into the press conference of the Electoral Commission yesterday. The 1st of September, in fact the 2nd of September 2024. And we'll toss the videos and audios in for you now so you get a feel of what happened yesterday. And then we'll engage with Christine Yali, who was there, eyes and ears on the ground yesterday. So let's hear from the Electoral Commission, shall we?
Advantage over the other.
The Electoral Commission has asked the public to disregard notable persons who deliberately malign the EC.
The preparation of the register is a human endeavor. There are bound to be mistakes. This is not the first time the Commission has recorded mistakes during registration of voters and compilation of the voters' register. We call on the public to reject statements that the register is not fit for the 2024 elections, or that it is incurably defective. The register is robust and credible. At the end of the day, the final certified register will reflect corrections of all identified errors. Who gives out a document and make it openly accessible to all if the intention is to add on illegal persons?
So that's Dr. Bosman Asari. He's the Deputy Commissioner at the Electoral Commission. He's also there as Director of External Services, Corporate Services. Now, joining us in studio is Christian Yali. Christian Yali was a man yesterday on the grounds. It does appear, Chris, to me that the Electoral Commission seems not to be admitting to the challenges that they've had, but rather on every single occasion they seem to be explaining away.
Exactly.
What transpired yesterday, the full picture?
Great. So the whole issue is what happened at Tamale South and Sagnarigu, where some voters were transferred to Pusiga in the Upper East region. The NDC had raised concerns. The NDC Professionals Forum had raised concerns and even asked for investigations into this. Now, yesterday, the EC met the media to proffer some explanations into what actually happened. On one breath, the EC says that yes, indeed, there were some 38 transfer of voters. However, it tries to absolve itself of any blame by stating that, even though that happened, the persons who were involved in that admit that they were not even directly involved during the process. However, their ID cards were taken supposedly by the suspect to, get some Arabian support for them. And so that is what actually happened. And so, on one breath, Dr. Bosman Asari noted that, they have identified that there were some 38 transfers. However, they cannot even say that it is a widespread issue for us to be worried about. So it is not that widespread, but they will still go ahead to investigate it. And so during that press encounter, he went ahead to state what the Regulation 22 says, the CI 127 says about the transfer of votes, and the fact that whoever wants to transfer their vote must be present during the process, and shouldn't be a case of someone going to pick a photograph and use it to do that in the absence of the said person. And so if you, Johnny or Helen, wants to, transfer her vote from one place to the other, she must be present at the place. But this wasn't the case. And so that is even not an isolated case. There was another instance at the Ejumako Enyanesiem.
Right.
And in all of these instances, the understanding is that if the NDC had not identified these and raised concerns, would have just swept them under the carpet.
Because the Electoral Commission kept giving everybody the impression that, everything is okay.
It's okay, yes.
Because you remember when the concerns were raised about the fact that some names had been transferred without the tacit approval of the said voters, the Electoral Commission put out a release to say that, ignore all of those things that have been said. The register we have is robust, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
So why is the Electoral Commission then coming back? I mean, this is the same flip-flop attitude that the Electoral Commission had in the past election. They didn't listen to anybody. They won't listen. They will rather explain and call everybody naysayers. I mean, they have had reason in the past to call the NDC noisemakers and that they were a danger to society.
Exactly.
Same Bosman Asari.
Exactly.
Fast forward to the close of that election, we saw how many flip-flopping, attempts that the Electoral Commission had.
Yeah.
And it's still fresh on the minds of people.
And you see, Johnny, what is striking is the fact that when you look at the case of Ejumako Enyanesiem, there were over 3,000 transfers, illegal transfers, over 3,000 persons who were transferred. And so
Ejumako Enyanesiem, that's Atofoson's, Dr. Kesel Atofoson's constituency in the Central region.
The issue of the EC always defending their actions. So Dr. Bosman Asari tells you that what is the purpose of the voter exhibition? He admits the fact that, if anything at all, they are not the first electoral commissioners to make mistakes in the voter register. Mentions the fact that from 1992 to date, all the past ECs have had mistakes in the voter register, and it is the main reason for the voter exhibition, so that they are able to identify some of the gaps and some of these errors. So
if we agree that in the past all ECs have had challenges and people have raised these concerns and the concerns have been fixed, was that the posture of Dr. Afarijan? Was that the posture of VCRAC Crab? Was that the posture of Charlotte Osei? Right? it is the posture we're talking about. It's not about the fact that, once you're working with figures, you make mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it is the posture to say that if I raise a concern, the first thing you tell me is, shut up. What you're saying cannot be true.
Exactly.
And then few weeks after, when you come back, you say, oh, well, what it is that you're saying is actually true, and that's why we have this second layer of opportunity for you to be able to get in there. It doesn't really add up to
it raises serious concerns looking at the how intense this election is going to be and the high stakes involved. So, I mean, fast forward, he mentions, for instance, that, and to quote it verbatim, says in the preparations towards the 2024 exhibition exercise, the absent voters list and the transferred voters list inadvertently included all transfers that had been done since 2020 when this register was first prepared. This has resulted in a higher than expected number of absent and transferred voters. So it goes ahead to say that this, understandably, may have caused some anxiety to our stakeholders, as exemplified by the NEC. And he goes ahead to say that the Commission has corrected this anomaly and will share with all political parties the corrected absent and transferred voters list for each polling station. And so that is the concern. So what? If the NEC had not raised this, would you have come to defend it, or would you have come to justify or profile some explanations as to why we ended up there? You see, and even yesterday, after his address, we sought to even push some critical questions to him. Mr. Tete was also there as well, but they refused to grant any question. All they will say is that if you have any question, come to me personally or text me behind doors, and which wasn't what we were looking for.
But that is not what the Electoral Commission is supposed. The Electoral Commission is not supposed to be some secret society, doing its activities behind the scenes. So if I don't have Bossman Asari's number, I don't have Jean Mensah's number,
I don't have,
or if I don't have Freeman Mr. Tete's number or any other person's number, then what happens to my vote? It's a big concern.
But he says the EC has nothing to hide.
Well, but there are many people who will ordinarily not step up because they go and say, so that's it. That's it for them. I mean, they won't bother to go again and check because they think that, well, already people have a certain sense of apathy towards the elections. People think that, well, we vote, we don't see anything happening, and why should we go and queue again to go and vote? Now we are trying to encourage them because the Electoral Commission is not doing that civic responsibility of their part of their job. NCC is also largely quiet on it.
They said they don't have money.
Well, but it is the media now who is spending time, energy, and resources to do that, to get people to say, go and register, go and verify if your name is in the register, go and vote, go and queue, and all of that. Now you say that people should come and see you privately. You should be complete in your processes. That's all. We don't pay you to make excuses.
I've listened to Mr. Bossman Asari several times. Actually, I've replayed what he had to say about the issues and the mistakes that have been highlighted. And yes, we all agree that it's a human institution. Mistakes will happen. He says it's not the first, it won't be the last. But I think the people of Ghana want to make progress. At what point do we start to make significant progress? Talk about the issue of having put all the transfers since 2020.
20 years.
I mean, that is a mistake that he himself agrees could cause a lot of anxiety, as we are seeing now. What is preventing the EC from having a more robust and efficient system? What is actually going on? Maybe they need some partnership, and that is not an insult to anybody. Maybe our population has grown, continues to grow. Maybe they are overwhelmed because, I mean, from issues of coral draw.
Yes.
Then you had issues of missing BVDs, and it took the NDC, and it appears that the NDC is the only party right now that has opened its eyes.
But Helen, even with the BVDs, what was the Electoral Commission's first response?
That's why they flatly denied it, that it was
like
happening.
That is happening. It's the NDC's crying wolf. Subsequently, they said, oh, it is true. Our machines are missing, but it is these machines. The NDC pressed further, and they said, oh, okay, it is true, the machines, we have told the police. When you have such an attitude and such a posture, you do not build trust. Especially when you have partisan political people known who had been on radio and TV advocating for one particular party. That's the party in power. And you have them now working as commissioners of the Electoral Commission.
Exactly.
You raise a lot of doubts. Kodeo says, look, they don't feel comfortable about it. They have told the Electoral Commission, they don't know why the Electoral Commission has refused to purge itself out of it. Public integrity, public perception, and trust issues are very important in trying to get, all this talk about peace.
Exactly.
Is hinged on these things.
That's right.
The chaos will begin if I know that I registered. I know that I've gone to the polling station to go and check my name in the register, and I turn up on election day and my name is not in the register, and so I cannot vote. That's where the chaos really begins. It doesn't begin in Jean Mensa or Boss Banasari's air-conditioned office where they hold press conferences and they tell you that all is well. Don't cry wolf. We have a second layer. Call me if you have a problem. It doesn't begin in that office. It begins in Kotobabi, some corner, electoral area, some corner where somebody doesn't understand, causes me, and police comes in, there's reprisal attacks. That is where it begins. And we go on the ground to cover these things. We see the action on the ground.
Yeah, and mind you, look at the delay in even making the provisional register available to the political parties, which was a concern that the NDC was very consistent in making. I remember IDEC hosted an event that had Dr. Shribo Kweku, the former director of electoral services, there, and he defended why the provisional register was not available when they had passed their own timelines for making it available. At least 6 days to the beginning of the exhibition, and that 6 days was over, and we had like 2 days to the exhibition, and the political parties were not having the register, the provisional one, to even cross-check when they had submitted all necessary tools or hard drives and what have you to facilitate that. And so yesterday, the other bit of how the EC is going to address all of these discrepancies that have come up, and Dr. Asari mentioned the fact that they have introduced what they call the liveliness check in the verification process. And so what it means is that there is a feature that has been designed to ensure that the biometric data being captured is from a live and present human being and not from a spoofed, a spoofed source, such as a photograph, which is what has been done or was done in the case of the Tamale South and Sagnarigu, as well as the Ejumaku case. And so this liveliness check has since been built into the system of the EC to prevent any such future occurrence. But there again, we jump to the defense again when he goes ahead to say that it is not true that the commission has added names or the commission has bloated the register to aid any rigging attempt, as has been widely spread by the opposition party. He says that the allegations are without merit and should be disregarded by the public. He said the EC has no, to quote it verbatim, the EC has no intention of bloating the register to give any political party advantage over the other. As explained, the cumulative transfer of data for 2020, 2023 and 2024 were inadvertently summed up in the registers provided to the political parties, and the corrected and revised register will be provided after all corrections have been made. How many times are you going to make corrections? And this is not the first time. And so if you're going to continue in this way, if you're going to progress in this same manner, then it raises serious concerns about credibility. Transparency, and what have you, which they will still defend.
Helen, in all the conversations, you find that some people literally reduce the conversation to, because it's a woman, that's why everybody's like, it's not about because somebody's a woman. I heard those same arguments being made when Charlotte Osei was there. If she ever made a slip, I remember the logo change thing, and people say, stop attacking her, she's a woman, she's trying to. It's not a woman factor conversation. The conversation is about we giving women an opportunity. We giving them an opportunity to be at the forefront and at the helm of affairs. And we knowing that because they are capable, they can deliver. So when we find that they are not delivering for one or two reasons, we draw the attention to it. But if we draw the attention to it and it appears that, they are taking a certain stance not to even listen and only to come back to come and correct when the harm has already been done, we must have a problem and to ask. More so when the woman is assisted by men who we also know should know better and should guide the woman. Because the Electoral Commission, as it is now in this current state, is, for want of a better expression, getting itself in too many issues of mess.
Yeah.
And it is not good for the Electoral Commission. How many weeks do we have to the election? 95 days to the elections, and we're still talking like this.
Yeah.
We still don't have a register that we can call credible, that all the political parties, NDC, MPP, PPP, CPP, PNC, and the independent movements can trust to say, this is the Bible we're taking into the election.
Yeah.
Certainly there's a problem.
I agree
I
with
mean,
that.
120 days, maybe 150 days before the elections, this should have been an old matter.
Exactly.
It should have been an old matter. Why?
These are issues that keep recurring. We saw it in 2020. Here again, we have it. But you see, the EC is saying that, I mean, going forward, it is not going to shield any of 8 officers who may be involved in any form of electoral malpractice, and goes ahead to say that tout Ghana's democracy as very credible, peaceful, one that is well celebrated locally and internationally by all observers.
It is not what the Electoral Commission says. How many by-elections have we had in recent time? In the last election, in fact, the 2020 elections, you remember that there was a gentleman who was an ad hoc staff of the Electoral Commission who was issuing ballot papers to voters and had taken off Nanado's image. You remember? So Nanado was the first candidate, was candidate number 1. They usually would use a ruler to tear the ballot sheet for you.
Yeah.
In that election, right? In that election, the gentleman put the, what do you call it, the ruler to cover Nanado's own, and tore the what do you call it, the thing from John Dramani Mahame's point. So Nanado, the ballot sheet that is given to you without the serial number, blah, 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 it also did not have Nanado on it. What has happened to that individual that the Electoral Commission caught? Because it was that's wrong. That's a crime.
Yeah. I mean, we can even recall the very recent one, the recent by-election that we saw the NPP MP issue a check.
No, but that's
to
even
the electoral officers.
That's even later. They give them an envelope. That's even later.
It's for lunch.
In between that,
for lunch.
There's also been an old woman who went to a polling station, one of the what do you call it, in the by-elections, who went there to say, I want to vote for candidate A, and then the Electoral Commission staff goes ahead with the person into the booth because they were assisting the person to vote, and the person votes for another candidate of her choice, not the candidate that the old woman wanted to vote for. That also came to light. What has happened? And then there was another instance where where people were caught asking what do you call it? People were caught asking, Electoral Commission officers were caught asking people to sign the results even before the figures were put in there. You remember that? One of the by-elections.
Yes.
How has the Electoral Commission punished all of these people so that when Boss Banasari holds a press conference to say that going forward we will punish people and we will not shield anybody, how do they want to win public trust and confidence? How?
I mean, he is urging everyone, including yourself,
he should stop urging us. He should tell us, relax.
Persons.
Relax. He should tell us how they have solved that, how they have handed them over to the police, how the police prosecuted them, how they were imprisoned or fined, how they have been kept far away from the electoral process. That is how what he says now will make sense to me, Johnny Beresford Hughes, as a private citizen of the country and a voter. One would
argue that some of those staff are temporary staff, you know. So that also raises that concern.
Christian Yali.
Yes.
Every ad hoc staff of the Electoral Commission is picked up and given the necessary training and orientation before they are put out there. So whether you are a presiding officer, a returning officer or not, that is not your day-to-day job. You are just an ad hoc officer of the Electoral Commission. So the Electoral Commission identifies you, you apply. In fact, they do checks on you. They are supposed to do checks on you to settle whether you are neutral or whatever it is or not. We know all the things. And then when they are done, they train you and remind you, do refresher courses on your taxes. And then when they finish, they say, look, sign these documents that you will apply the rules that we have given to you. When you have people now go and misconduct themselves, assist somebody to go and vote for the candidate of their choice, then you go and thumbprint what candidate you want as an officer of the Electoral Commission. You go and as an officer of the Electoral Commission, you ask people to sign for results that are yet to be verified, right? And then before you actually write the figures in there. As an officer of the Electoral Commission, you are tearing ballot sheets with people's picture on it. I use that Nanado example where Nanado's picture was taken off. And then how have you as an Electoral Commission punished those people? It is in punishing those people, and after you have given us the results of that action, that we can trust what you are saying, that going forward we should. You can't come and be speaking. Tell Boss Manasari it is not about speaking a race ratio.
I mean, indeed. So
it's not about race.
So those were some of the issues that we had wanted to ask after his address, but they were not ready to accept questions from the media.
An open Electoral Commission.
Oh yes, I mean, but he maintains and stresses the fact that the EC has nothing to hide. Now that just to wind up on this,
have nothing to hide, but they won't take questions.
I mean, maybe for obvious reasons.
Which one-way communication is that?
He urges the public to disregard statements from prominent citizens that suggest that achieving peaceful elections in 2024 is somehow in the bosom of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. He mentioned the fact that doing this, compiling a voter register, is a human process and there are bound to be mistakes. However, the EC is painstakingly making sure that we have a clean register for the conduct of the 2024 elections. And he also mentions the fact that going forward, the document would be given out. I mean, after all the mistakes have been detected and corrected.
Who declares the presidential results in this country?
The EC does.
And why should we not put the occurrence of any chaos in that province?
I mean, the EC is doing its part.
Relax.
Okay. The EC is doing its part.
The last election that we had, how many results were declared for the presidential elections by the same Electoral Commission, in whose bosom we should not be placing the challenge?
I mean, mistakes. I mean, you see, Johnny. So we are running a human institution.
Don't be a PRO for the Electoral Commission.
I mean, just to balance the issues here, we are running a human institution, and some of these mistakes may occur. It is only good when you realize it and you come to rectify them, which is exactly what the EC is making us believe.
Do they accept? Yesterday, did you get an indication from the meeting that they accepted that there are mistakes?
I mean, they partly admitted.
George AEC is National Communications Director of the National Disaster Management Organization. There's disaster. I'm sure he will help us to fix it. He's also a member of the NPP's National Communications team. Fred Agbenyo is the NDC's candidate for the Guan constituency.
Do we really have any Guan constituency?
They don't have an MP as it stands. No, if you want to.
No, is the constituency existing now?
But he's prepared. He's lacing his boots. Because if you go there, you look for trouble.
You should tell us. I've been worried for him and my country.
You're worried for him.
As for my brother and his mischief, it's legendary.
Charlie, do you have a constituency?
After you have denied the good people of Guan representation in Parliament for 4 good years, the least you can do is to come and mock us at this.
Do you have a constituency?
The good news is that the CI was laid. The CI was laid in Parliament. 5 days after it was laid, the NP attempted to go and withdraw it, but our people didn't allow them. We insisted. So it matured on the 30th of November 2023. So the Guam is a full-fledged constituency. We are participating in all the electoral activities that are going on. We're involved in the limited registration. We have been given our district code.
A prominent citizen there is worried.
We have been given our district code. The exhibition that took place, we participated in it. We have an AC office over there. We are doing everything. I've picked my nomination forms. I've completed it. On the 9th, I'm submitting. I'm told some other parties also have their candidates that want to contest.
Which parties?
I'm not too sure, because there's no way you can deny people representative for 4 years. Treated them as though we are second citizens in our whole country, as though we are a republic within Ghana. And then when finally people have struggled and worked so hard, you now want to
so nobody can wake up on the 6th of December and say that you will not participate in the parliamentary elections.
Well, you can fool some people some of the time. You can fool other people all the time. Some people can be tolerant for some time, and they can be tolerant for it forever.
I don't understand you.
Well, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Which bridge?
The bridge that anybody will attempt. Anybody to attempt to subvert what has been
agreed on by Parliament that we have a CI 138 that has created the Guam constituency officially. And for anybody on the eve of the election come up and say, no, you are not going to vote, then I'm sure we would have run out of our patience and we will demonstrate that we are Ghanaians. I don't think there will be any basis. So I don't even want to contemplate it.
No, I'm just asking you. So I will put the.
I understand.
You know how I put my sound bites down.
I understand why you ask your questions, because at least you saw it in 2020 elections. We're on the eve of the election, just by fiat, a letter signed by one individual. Without recourse,
it was a constitutional matter.
What are you talking about?
So Sylviano signed that, right?
I am saying that in the
she's now an ambassador to Denmark. Is that the case?
That?
Sylviano, the one who signed it.
The EC commissioner.
The CSF signed. Not Sylvia signed.
Was Sylvia who announced it to us?
The commissioner herself signed the letter.
It was constitutional. If she had not signed, there would have been a breach of the constitution. Article 47.
No
one constituency falls in two regions.
You don't understand what happened. We were supposed.
Okay. And I blame the MPs then, Boehm and Hohoe, for not rising up on those things for the people of.
We also by our government and Ajimai government. You hear no evil.
What do you mean Ajimai government?
And they don't listen to anything you say. They do what they like.
George, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
George, are you on Ajimai government?
No. We are listening government. We are listening government. We're listening.
George, the Electoral Commission's posture, have you been happy with it?
To be honest with you, today I commended the NDC and the Electoral Commission on this situation, because when the NDC raised the issues, some of us were a bit hesitant to believe that but the EC wasn't adamant. They took it seriously and they went into it and realized indeed what the NDC was saying
after denying that any such thing had happened.
That's the posture. You see, Johnny, if they denied and they went to sleep, that is the danger.
But why deny when you are not sure?
No, because you see, the NDC, the whole caboodle of accusations were so laden. Some were baseless.
Yeah, but the point, but the point,
some were real.
But George, the point is that somebody makes an allegation.
Yes.
You don't dismiss it if you are not too sure. You say, okay, we have heard you. We will investigate.
I agree.
And that's it. But the Electoral Commission, right from the get-go, said that no, this one, it cannot be the case. It
cannot be.
You are crying wolf.
So they were sure
and
of themselves.
even led Codeo to come and say that the NDC is crying too much. They're trying to make the Electoral Commission look bad. They should bring evidence.
Yes.
Now Codeo is saying that, look, we're surprised ourselves.
Yes, so they are surprised. The EC service is surprised. There's an officer.
But why?
There's an officer.
But why deny in the first place?
No, because they were
George,
sure.
Allow me,
they were sure. They were sure of their conduct and activities. Okay. Now, an officer of the EC is misconducting himself somewhere. Definitely, you need evidence to be able to substantiate that, and they have taken the right step by investigating. Yes, okay, I agree. So from the get-go, no, you see, when you keep crying wolf, the day the wolf comes, people doubt you. And that was the case that happened. Okay, it's unfortunate, but I'm happy that they went further to investigate and they've established this. And the NDC is also, though they are not satisfied, my brother, their deputy elections officer, Dr. Thanko, is saying,
computer.
Yeah, computer. He was my classmate, so they're pushing for, further forensic and I think there's a forum for that. The IPAC is a proper forum for them to go and interrogate the issues and get the EC to do the right thing.
95 days to the big election.
Yes.
We do not have a register as we speak because the NDC is contesting it. The Movement for Change and many others are also saying we still have not seen a copy of it. If we have to file a nominations, it will be based on the names that have been okayed by the Electoral Commission who come endorse and all of that. What do you say? How does it sound to you? 95 days to election? You don't
but it's good to be thorough, meticulous, and detailed. So that whatever register is ultimately given to the political parties and the presidential candidates are fit for purpose. Okay, so that we can now have some of these things. The exhibition has been done. They've brought it back. These errors have been identified. They clean it, they purge the register of those things, and ultimately, if it's about 70 days or 80 days or even 65 days to, I think it shouldn't be less than the 60 days, right? So that the political parties get it and go through it and they are satisfied, so that the register is credible for the election.
But the way
it's better they take time to go through it and get the credible register.
But the way it is now, even if they fix it, they would have to re-exhibit it.
No.
So
What they are saying is that they will give it to the political parties.
Yeah, but I need to go and check my name. If my name is in it.
Then you go through it. If there will be a window, if there will be a window for exhibition, fine.
But George, if I'm not part of the NDC or MPP or PPP, and you have given the register to them, how do I verify that my name as an ordinary person, a floating voter?
No, the EC office is open. There's access at the district level. You can go and then check those. And two, there's electronic process of verification. The *715 *11 hash. It's, you can use that to get the issue. If there's error, then you move to the office and do the rectification. So opportunities are there for people to
Fred,
do that.
the register and the matters are rising. Are you guys happy now with the roadmap that the Electoral Commission has put out there?
How can I be happy? How can a well-meaning Ghanaian be happy?
Why don't you want to be happy?
You see, I was saying earlier on your sister program that elections are not fanfare. It's not just for the beauty of it. That people wake up in the morning and go and queue up under the scorching sun and they know we are going to vote. We'll go back home and go and eat gari and sleep. No. Elections determines everything that happens in this country. If our roads are going to be fixed, if you are going to have water, our medical system is going to work well, people are going to get jobs to do and what have you, education is going to work well. It is dependent on what? Elections and outcomes of elections. That is why across the world, where we have had elections and it's been compromised, it's not free and fair, the final result has been that there's chaos, there's confusion, the destabilization of the system. And that's why we are saying that Ghana, we have our own history, where we have come from. So by 1991, when we were going for the referendum that ushered us into the Fourth Republic, we were clear in our mind that this is the path we want to travel on. We want rule of law, we want governance. And so when finally we voted in that referendum, we agreed that we are going the path of democracy. We quickly made sure that we brought the constitution into being. And in that constitution, institutions were created that are supposed to be the pillar of the democracy. And these institutions have been given mandates. And persons who get the opportunity to work in those institutions at every point in time must remind themselves that they are not the best the country can ever have. They are not the first and they'll never be the last. It's an opportunity that has beckoned you. Go there and serve Mother Ghana.
Right.
Don't go and serve any political interest. Because no party in a democracy will remain in power forever and never. Whichever way, there will be a change of party, government. And so serve. And sometimes I sit back quietly, I ask myself, that when you do this and everybody's mentioning your name, they mention your name. When you go back home and you see your wife and your husband and your children, how do you feel? How do you feel? You go to bed and you have your peace of mind, you sleep and snore. You feel okay, you feel content. Right? Because apart from the criticism, apart from that you are saying, say that okay, the political actors who are talking. The current Afrobarometer, go and see what Ghanaians are saying by the Electoral Commission. It's no longer Fred you're saying it. Or people within the NDC alone. Afrobarometer definitely will not.
But the Electoral Commission is the only one that we have.
Thank you.
And if we don't help them to become better, we don't preserve them, we will have ourselves to blame in the past. Do you get a sense that your party is helping the Electoral Commission to become better?
See, go and check. Almost all the major reforms that we have seen our electoral system in this country have been done when it is in power. You can make the case that oftentimes MPP will raise a concern. We will listen, we will pay attention, we will see the merits in it and how to help this country, and then we implement. We support the Electoral Commission to do it.
So they propose
we have
and
always,
implement.
It's not everything they propose.
Everything.
What are you talking about?
Everything.
So you always see good when you're in opposition. When you're in power and you're given the mandate, then that one there you put a plaster on your eyes. You don't see anything again. Then you start destroying everything. You say you're a very responsible party. You are watching everything.
Yeah.
All the anomalies that have been identified in the electoral system to speak now. Have you heard them speak? They've been quiet.
No, you've brought it.
Because they believe and think that some way or the other it will favor them.
How?
And now why are you not talking? And now why are you not complaining? if you think that there are errors,
You have brought it up.
hold it. If you think that there are errors that will compromise the integrity of the elections, and you have also identified it, why are you not talking to it? This one I can commend you as George Aisi, and not necessarily the MPP, not necessarily the MPP. George
Aisi is a member of the MPP.
Because the Gbeshida is in your party, you left in the house when you were coming this morning.
What Gbeshi is that?
He left the Gbeshi in the house, and he came here now very sound and clear mind as a Ghanaian. And so he tried. No, sometimes you are not a Ghanaian. Sometimes you are indeed something else. See, what you are talking about is very, very serious. And you see the hypocrisy in this country, my brother. It is the reason why Ghana is where it's
hypocrisy on whose part?
See, people who think, people will revere, people will respect, people whose voice, when they speak, all of us are supposed to keep quiet and listen to them. And when the time comes for them to do so, for whatever reason, they choose to go and sleep. They choose not to speak. They choose not to see anything wrong. I get worried. How on earth we have created an electoral commission? We say it should be an independent institution.
Right.
An institution all of us can have confidence in to work for us. Every Ghanaian, whichever way, votes on election days.
Right.
But there are people who are politically exposed by the things they do. If you mention the name for that Benyo anywhere, everybody know I'm a political actor, I belong to the NDC fraternity.
Right.
If you mention Georgia, is his name everywhere, everybody knows. But there are persons by the work they do who are far agree that don't be partisan. Don't let people see your political colors because you are supposed to serve all of us. So when you are there, all of us can have confidence in you and walk up to you. That is what we have agreed on. Now you are packing the Electoral Commission with well-known party functionaries.
Who are they?
Party activists, party actors. And when we draw your attention, I hear no evil, I see no evil, talk, I will do what I like. Now when we write to an institution like the Council of State that is supposed to admonish every institution, play an advisory role, make sure that this country remain a united country and move forward, then they write back to us to tell us that, you know what, you have raised your concern. They submitted a CV of the director of IT at the community to us. We have gone through the CV and the man is qualified. So the only criteria, the only qualification to be appointed today is your CV. You have gone to school. You have the academic qualification. That is enough.
And
so whether you are a criminal, whether you are a thief, whether you are an armed robber, whether you are whatever it is, nobody cares. And that is what...
And does that give you mistrust of the Electoral Commission, integrity issues?
But, my brother, almost all the concerns we have raised, one, when this what is the name? BVDs and the other one, when they got missing,
the laptops and all of them,
and we got a hint and we raised the concern, they told us we are talking too much. Oh, it's just a laptop, a non-functional laptop that got missing. There's no cause for alarm. They can't use for anything. We said no, there is more to it. Investigate. A few weeks down the line, they now come to admit that what you are saying is true. Meanwhile, these DVDs were supposed to have been kept in a secure place, storeroom at the Electoral Commission. We are told CC cameras are supposed to be there. Somebody is responsible for the keys to that place. Today, when you go to the Electoral Commission offices, you will see the police standing there 24/7. In some cases, the military.
How do you know it didn't get
hold it
process after
in the transit.
Was there a goat that was responsible for the transit? Please. Hold it. Was there a goat that was responsible?
No, relax.
Was there a goat?
Relax.
Was there a
relax.
Was there a cocoa?
Relax.
Was there a dria?
Relax.
Relax. Later they say, okay, what you guys are saying is true. Now we were told a few days ago that a ghost that they've arrested one guy with those things. Meanwhile, we have heard. You see, sometimes the thing you come and say on radio.
You have heard where?
Hold it. Some of the things come and say radio. People will call you and tell you things. They may not necessarily be able to give you empirical evidence. And so to come and alert them on radio is difficult.
Yeah, because you'll be responsible for it.
That's right. Sometimes the information they give you, you can see some exaggeration, you can see some truism. So sometimes it's difficult to put them out. Of some registrations that were supposed to be taking place in homes. Access, there's allegations. Private homes. Even after the system.
Those things are they true?
Hold it. You see, the reason why now I can believe same to be true is that just today, Electoral Commission has admitted that when you go to Pusiga, the director of EC at that place was engaged in what? Illegal transfer. illegal transfer. So now it gives credence
to what the people were saying. That these registrations could have been done privately.
That's right. Could have been done privately.
Okay.
Because the point I'm making that,
Go ahead.
Johnny.
Yeah.
You don't be calling me. I've not seen you in a long while.
Because since you made money, you have decided to.
I've made money. When your brother is in the trenches, your brother is on the
back. Wearing 3-piece suits on a Tuesday morning.
Call me and wish me well. You don't. Johnny, can you imagine what will happen? That on election day, the 7th of December, you wake up early in the morning to go and vote. You know you registered at a particular polling station, and that's why you have been voting all these years. You get there only to be told that, oh, your name is not on this roll.
Give the Electoral Commission a chance to investigate and wrap up.
You see,
and wrap up on that so I can go to George.
Where we are, it's not funny and it's not a joke. They were going to do exhibition. Then we said, can you please make the register available to the political parties so that we can interrogate the data, match it against what we have, and see if there are any discrepancies or anything that we can draw your attention to. Usual of the arrogance, whatever it is, they came out and tell us, you know what, we have a roadmap, we have a timetable we are working with. As far as we are concerned, we are working within that time to stop talking. When we are ready, we will give it to you. Look at how voluminous this data is. They gave the data to us a day or two, 24 hours before the exhibition. And they expect us to have scrutinized all this data. You give us a soft copy, now get it out and send it to all the branches for them to have gone through before the exhibition. And it's as if, let me just land on this. All the people who are working in the commission today, the commissioners, they don't understand and know anything about election than all of us. People in political parties have been involved in electoral activities only God knows how long. In terms of experience, knowledge. When we're going to the limited registration, we met with our district director in Maguan district. Then we proposed what they call them in satellite centers where they can do the registration. They brought it to Accra. Somebody who doesn't even know the district, who has never been there before, says that, you know what you have proposed, I will not work with it. Go and do it at another place. The way my district is, if I come from Akpa for Tochi, Sandro Gofi, you necessarily must drive to Walkway district.
Right.
Before you are able to get there.
Before you bend
That's
into
right.
it.
If you are coming from Akpa for Dokosoko and the rest, you necessarily must go through Kofi Adams constituency. The road infrastructure is zero.
Yeah. So there's only one way that
it's only one way. So the hell we went through. The first day of the registration, the machines didn't work. I think about 4 o'clock that they tried. That day there's only 6 people in Akpafo-Adoko. Akpafo-Adoko is not a very big community. And now there was a caveat that you don't bring people from another electoral area to come and register at that satellite place. How many people were in that community?
Okay.
We argued that if you had brought that particular station to a place like Akpafo in Tech, it could have served the people of Sandro Gofi.
Okay. So bottom line, you're saying that you know what's on the ground?
We know on the ground that someone is in a conditioning room. We know, we understand.
Quickly.
So be humble, listen to us.
Thank you. Quickly, George. There's I want to quickly go. Nia wants you, but quickly, let's listen to this one, and then I'll pick your thoughts on the Techiman South situation.
There is no arm. I'm saying, well, you saw it. You all saw the video. No one is holding anything in their hand. They're just standing at the premise. Even cry the barricade cry at to bang our Mujina Chiri. Ubi and Kitashi. 92.7. Na Aqua do say, Yen Sani to Umfanguni Pasono. Nti Yeba Tuaba, a Siciano, Tuone de Becumnipa and Sene, Yatuya Banya winner.
Al Hassan Issa is an NDC executive who was at the coalition center during the chaos. He says that security officials deliberately targeted the NDC supporters.
And then we saw the police aiming the gun, aiming their weapons at where the NDC team youth were standing. But under normal circumstance, it is both the NDC and the MPP. So if for anything at all, the guns must be aimed at all of those who are standing there. No.
So that's from Techiman South. George, I know you have to go, but quickly, the call for justice to be done for the folks in Techiman South who lost their elections in the last their lives in the last election have come with a lot of reactions. The recent one is your party's running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who literally is talking about killings in the past, the PNDC, 1982, 1990, etc., and that people should know. I mean, it's murky and all of that. What do you say?
Yeah, thank you.
Do they deserve justice at all?
Just everybody deserves justice, whether it was in 1992 or 2020 or 2016 or 2023. Everybody who is unlawfully shot and killed or injured deserves justice. So I think I know that the police have been investigating some of them, the Ablikuma one, and I understand even that one, a police officer was detained and granted bail. So I don't know the status of the case as of now, but everyone deserves justice, and we need to ensure that the process is followed through. What Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh might have said, I have not heard it, but whatever it is, if some people were unfairly treated the same way in time past, and he thinks there should be a recall of that for justice to be dispensed to them. It's right, but these people need justice. They deserve justice.
Final question to you is that there's a call for peace, and for people the NDC to come inside the peace pact. They say go and fix that matter first. Let's get justice for them before we can talk about peace. What do you say to that?
Oh well, the NDC has made their proposition. They've put it on the table. It's up to the Peace Council, the Electoral Commission, the other political parties and co to see the wisdom in it, and if it's feasible, if it's doable, I don't see why they shouldn't take steps to do it, because it's for the national cohesion and peace that we're enjoying. Without peace, we cannot have development. But if they think the proposition by the NDC is ludicrous, they should let them understand it and then see. Or if they are working on it and it's going to take a longer period, they can explain it to the NDC and then we'll get it. But signing the peace pact or not, is it consequential?
I don't know. You tell me. You are the politician.
Because a political party can append their signature to it, and then they go and do something else. You get it? Let's all be committed to the peace process.
Okay.
This election, if it should be open, peaceful, transparent.
But your youth organizer says we will sacrifice this election on the altar of peace. You heard him, Salam.
Well, I've not heard him, but on the other program, it was stated and cool. But hey, we need peace, but that also doesn't mean you should go and sleep because there's going to be peace. If people are doing things untoward, you close your eyes to it. No. I'm happy the NDC is being critical and observant now and taking steps, to, point out some of the things they think are not right. That is the way to go.
Okay, George.
Elections are won from the polling station through the collation center to the national level.
I hear you. George,
so do the right things and get your results.
George, you
hope for. But we know we are going to win convincingly.
I hear
convincingly.
you. George, you see that
Dr. Baumia is winning.
National Communications Director of the National Disaster Management Organization has to go to Onuya FM 95.1, and that's it. I'll take my closing thoughts from you, and then we'll wrap up the conversation.
My closing thoughts are this. I just received a text message, and I read it to you. My wife had a voter's ID card checked. Unfortunately, her name is not in the register. She registered in Ashama.
Okay, some of the details in it.
ID number. I'll not mention the ID, and I'll send it to the appropriate contest. ID number, police station code, everything is here. After checking, we noticed that her name was taken off the register, and when we checked, it's online with the same ID number. Her name is changed from her name is here to another name.
What name had it been changed into?
He's now been changed to Efia Beniwa.
Okay.
And the age now is 20. The lady was born in 1980, but they have assigned a new age, 28 years. Police station code is there. Now she's been transferred to Bepuase constituency, New Edubiasen in the Ashanti region. If she has given me all the details, her card that Electoral Commission issued, and the number on it that she check online. So these are the genuine issues we are talking about.
And this is from a constituent or
somebody
from
Ashama.
Right.
From Ashama. So this person on election day, assuming she had even now gone to check On election day, she walks in there, her name is not in the register. Her name is somewhere in the Ashanti region. Somewhere, somehow, they will find somebody to replace her and vote in that other constituency.
Wow.
Somewhere, they'll find somebody. And so, see, I am saying that, election is not an event. It's a process. And all of us must open our eyes and watch what is going on in the country. Johnny, I'm sure you are following what is happening in the military. You are friends and brothers, and you are from a barracks person. And I know you know. Suddenly we are told that the military leadership, there's a complete shake-up. They have changed this person, they have blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There are some people who have called to say that, you know what is happening? Even some tribes are being asked to go on foreign missions abroad. All manner of funny things. Not too long ago, for the first time official, even though it is in the constitution, the deputy IGP has been appointed at the presidency level in charge of what? Operations.
Well, the presidency has, the government has amended that thing when they went to court. You know, somebody sued.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they went to court.
I went to I was not following.
And the rate that they brought did not add the director of operations to it. They said it's deputy IGP throughout.
You see.
That's Godfrey Dami's rate in response to the suit.
You see.
Yeah, so I'm sure that the government has come to see that.
You understand?
What was done.
Just around the same time, the Interior Ministry is out there saying that they want to do recruitment into all the agencies. Few months to elections. Now I want to say, now, here and today, that yes, the soldiers may have the AK-47s. The police may have all the things we have the taxpayers managed to buy for them. You are relying on them to unleash mayhem on innocent Ghana, you in Techima and the rest. And I also West Wagon. What the military people and the police people themselves know is that they're also in this country, they are going through what all of us are going through. What they also know, in case they are forgetting, they must remind themselves, is that their wives and children and family members are not security personnel. They don't have the guns and don't have the rest. By the time you finish killing ordinary Ghanaians on the street, thousands of them, I'm sure you get back home and see what they have left behind. So all of us are calling on all fair-minded Ghanaians, those who are calling for peace, 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 and have refused to realize that peace does not exist in a vacuum, and that there are factors that will bring about peace. They are not interested in fairness, they are not interested in free and fair, they are not interested in justice, they are calling for peace. Nananom who are there, Council of State, you are there, there are Sofo who are there. This is the time to speak and call this government to order, more so when the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces himself, on several occasions, has stood publicly to tell us that he is not going to hand over power to anybody but the man that he has endorsed and imposed on their political party. All of us must speak. NDC, we have served and we are serving notice that we will not accept any electoral outcome that is not free and fair. We will not. And so that notice must go out there.
I hear you.
And when that time comes, and you carry your vans and the things that you are coming to our office to come and broker a peace deal, when you come, whatever you come and encounter is your own JJJ.
Fred, go and drink water. Fred Agbenyo is the NDC's preferred candidate or candidate candidate for the the Goan constituency, Santro Kofi Akpafu Likpelo Lobby. They don't have an MP. That they know, and but it's 95 days to the elections.
It's 95 days to election 2024. Former U.S.